Hi, everyone, to our third volume of our Incident Management Cafe. We've got myself, Cam Shrikant from our solutions team, and our VP of Technology, Robert Crum. Hi, Bob. Thanks for hopping on to have a chat with us today.
Yeah, hi Cam. Thanks.
Cool. So today we really wanted to cover the topic of digital operations, where we see those playing within organizations, and some of the best practices around digital operations. So, as a good place to start, Bob, could you give us a run through as far as what digital operations entail? What does that term mean to an organization, and how does that help them structure their IT processes?
Sure, Cam. So digital operations is a very hot buzzword today, and it really encompasses a lot of things beyond IT ops. But we're going to focus a little bit on IT operations. So really, what's happening is the increasing demand for digital services. It's creating new opportunities, new markets around the world. Digital transformation is always creating opportunities for growth and expansion. Um, but it also offers the opportunity to reduce costs and improve the bottom line. So there's a lot of good motivation for organizations of all types to adopt and focus on digital operations. Um, However, now those organizations they need to be able to evolve rapidly in order to keep up with customer demands and stay ahead of the competition. For example, today a customer can use their smartphone to deposit a check in the bank, digitally signed documents and email. Automobiles can automatically request roadside and medical assistance. So there are constantly new innovations, and with each new innovation comes a new level of expectations from customers. As automated bots process customer requests become more personalized, people are going to begin to expect more human like responses to complex requests. And so then this stuff is happening at breakneck speeds, and organizations are really being forced to evaluate their technologies, their processes, and their people. Cam?
Yeah, when we talk about kind of the customer experience beyond behind it, and it's phenomenal, right? If my tire, if I have a flat and I don't have a donut, I can tap a button and I have AAA on its way. But with that said, for AAA, that's probably a million more moving parts in their back end, right? Things that they need to ensure procedurally as well as operationally are on target in order to be able to provide that level of service, right? So, how, with all of these moving parts, would we want to structure digital operations to make it manageable?
Well, quite simply, you want to automate everything. That should be the mantra. You won't be able to actually automate everything, but you want to start by looking for automating what you could. So you look at things that are repetitive operations that can be automated. In general, you look for things that computers do better than people, and you automate those. But on the other hand, you want to let the people do the things that people do better. What this means is change management becomes very important for organizations because you're going to be continuously evaluating your tools and your processes and your people. You're going to be changing people's jobs, what they need to do, and you're going to need to look at the skill sets. Um, Again, these are not bad things. This really lets you perhaps you can offer better services. You can continually evaluate what you're doing, improve things as you adapt and evolve. Pretty much that's
So,
it.
yeah, I think that that definitely makes sense. So, from an automation perspective, I think you hit on something very interesting there, right? We start with the notion of automating everything, but as you mentioned, there are things that people do better than systems, and there are things that systems do better than people. So, how do we come to that delineation, right? So, what would you, from your experience and best practice, determine the line exists, right? Where does that line exist to say that a human should carry out an action versus a system should automate it?
Sure, for sure if it's repetitive, right? If whenever you see the same problem, you have the exact same solution and a person's doing something, see if you can automate that, if there's some way to do it and move towards that. Also, the reality is there's frequently not enough people to do the work. There's huge demands in IT. So this really it offers an opportunity to start doing some of these things, putting people on certain things. You could be looking at continually improving your processes. Um, Really, when you drive change like this in an organization, you really want to push it down to the lowest level you can. So, let the people that are dealing with the customers, let the people that are dealing with the problems in the operations, let them start to offer solutions instead of just sitting there reacting all day long. So it really gives you a chance to transform your services, improve your services.
Yeah, absolutely. So then that notion of like proactive alerting, right? Would you say that applies substantially to Knox or SOX? Because from my experience, I've seen a highly experienced network engineer that is simply sitting there making phone calls when something goes wrong. So rather than resolving the issue, they're a glorified dispatch service at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, that's an opportunity for automation. Um, what we see is there's sort of a maturation process, maturity, evolution process that technology kind of forces on us, on organizations. And so, for example, there's a lot more monitoring, trying to move to become more proactive. Well, more monitoring means more alerts. More alerts is, we need more people to handle these alerts, right? So again, you have to continually evolve and evaluate the processes and change things, look to improve things. Like again, with the alerting, we talk about automation. If somebody gets alerted and they're calling somebody or they're going in and fixing it, let's see if we can run some sort of remediation. And it's sort of you work your way through these things. You start by automate what you can, the obvious things. You work your way down to the next level where, well, we don't have a way to automate this. We'll see if we can. What do we need to do that? So do we need some
Yeah,
other tools, perhaps? Um, do we need to choose tools
yeah,
that have this?
absolutely.
So it's going to evolve constantly. In fact, the tools you have to be really open, I think, to newer tools, and that's what we're hearing a lot from our customers too. They're really looking constantly for best of breed tools. They're willing to really embrace newer technologies in order to achieve this.
Absolutely, and I think that that kind of goes back to this notion that I hear quite a bit from MSPs that I talk to, where a lot of the requests aren't something that really should require human intervention. If it's a password reset, which makes up a lot of the time 60% of their inbound ticketing traffic throughout the course of a business day, why can't a password reset be automated? So I definitely think that digital operations from managing a customer standpoint, that as much as you can automate would definitely provide value there.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thank you everyone for taking a look at the Incident Management Cafe episode 3. Bob, really appreciate the time and look forward to our next one.
Yeah, Cam.